I think I'm hungry and I think I can't film while I'm hungry. That's the new addiction. Hold. Now that we're in the brand safe era, I'm manifesting a sponsorship from Ritz Balanced Breaks. If you've never had one of these, they're sickening. I just love pepper jack. Pepper jack is the best cheese, and if you don't agree, you're wrong. I'm like, who's Jack? Hi guys, it's Tana Mongeau. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today is arguably one of the most special days of my life. Definitely one of those moments where it is so cool to me that I have this YouTube channel. I've been thinking about filming this video all week, and the last time I filmed a video similar to this one, I was kind of sitting down crying and saying you guys are my therapy, and so grateful for in the low moments the way that you are there for me. But also today I'm so moved and grateful to God and grateful for my life and grateful for you guys that, like, in the highest moments you are there with me, and you're there with me in this way that is so indescribable. Like, you know me and you have seen me through it all. You have seen me on every part of this journey to get to here, so it doesn't feel like something that I'm just celebrating with my friends or my loved ones or even alone. It feels like I am celebrating this win with all of you, and that is so fucking cool. That is so cool. I'm sorry about the noise. We are at my place in Hawaii, and that's not what this video is about. I'm wearing my little lei. Leis kind of overstimulate me. I might take this off, but it's so beautiful. I've been at my place in Hawaii. I need to make a whole video about that, probably a million videos. I am so this is so insane. There is something so insane about being here and my life here, and I know this video isn't about this, so I'll try to keep it short, but just like, go get the girl with the dirty door and like show her this era of life. It is like so, oh my God, I'm already crying. It's just like, I can't believe this is my life in all aspects. Like, just everything that's happening right now. I've been saying since I got here, I feel like I'm like operating on this different timeline. I almost feel like I'm in my like karmic return, or something bigger than me is happening. Okay, I got to Hawaii. I slept so good for the first time since I was here, quite literally last. I got 10 hours of sleep. My Oura ring was blue. My Oura ring has been red since I left Hawaii. I wake up to a DM from Chili's. I wake up to a follow from Adam Sandler's daughter. I've been talking to her. I am in contact with a Sandler, with kin of a Sandler. Okay, she is half Adam. What do you mean? Tana X Tart is being sold at Ulta, and you guys keep selling it out so fast that it's like not even, I don't even have the time to say that or celebrate it. There might be a few units left. I don't even know. It's just like, I've been seeing people review it and support me, and just support me in this era is like, it's so nuts. I feel like so many things that I was dreaming of or working for, or just things I couldn't even dream of, are happening, and I credit so much of that too to being sober, and that's what today's video is about. I am gonna make an entire video on my Hawaii place. There's a couch in my living room right now. I bought this couch. I don't think I like this couch. There's a whole, but look at that. So sickening. Like, I wish I could show you guys the whole view, but unfortunately I have a stalker. It's not even just like, I don't even want to be like, people are crazy. There's one person out there who so desperately wants to know where this place is, and just, God love him. I have a whole video about that I don't know if I want to put it on my YouTube channel. I'm thinking about starting a Patreon for this channel that I don't know why I'm pointing, it doesn't exist yet, but the LAPD just did not give a in a way that needs to be studied, and it's all on footage. I want to do a Patreon for you guys over here, and just, I have a mukbang with Trisha and just a bunch of different little things. But anyway, sorry, ADHD final boss. I have all these frames here and stuff. I'm doing a gallery wall. People online keep telling me to repaint my yellow walls, but I kind of love them. Look at my little kitchen. It's the only part of the place that is clean. These flowers are from Brittany, the best manager in the world. I can't even believe that too. Like, tell Tana with the dirty door, big things are coming. Female manager who sends her flowers. This I bought on Facebook Marketplace from a guy who was like, kept asking me where I lived, and finally I had to tell him, like, I'm not telling you, sir. Stop asking me that. Give me my painting. I don't want a stalker on Maui. I've been having such funny experiences because I've been like thrifting and like Facebook Marketplacing, and I have so much lore, but like, okay, that is not this video. I'm just so grateful and excited to be here, and I can't believe I have this place, and I can't believe my life with Makoa, and just everything is so magical, so that's why I can't shut up about it. But that is a different video. Today I am 1 year sober, and I just have so much to say about it. And it's so funny because I never thought you're balancing on a box of Keurig K-cups and a shitty ass fancy Amazon tripod. This is the wrong angle. I want you to be lower. Like, we need some like tit. We need some tit. Like, this is a video about your sobriety. See what I mean though? Like, now doesn't it feel like we're just like sitting here together? We needed that angle change. It's so funny because in the beginning stages of me trying to go sober, I never thought burping cheese. Holy fuck. We're gonna lock in. We're gonna lock in like right now. I never thought I would be the testimony girl. Like, I never thought I would be coming online and I would be wanting to like share my story so bad. Or like, I also think that I had such a low sense of self that I never believed that I would have a testimony or a story or anything like that that could help people. I mean, you know, across my YouTube channel, I would always say like, what would I always say? I would always say that I'm not a role model, and I would always be like, do as I say and not as I do. And that is true for a lot of things. This is the first time in my life where I don't look at myself that way. And I do feel like I have a testimony and I have a story. And I'm so grateful to have already seen, like, even the other day we got a call on Not Loveline where this girl called in and she was crying. I'm gonna try not to cry, but she was thanking me for my sobriety testimony because it made her want to go sober. She was saying today is day one, and she was crying, and I just started bawling. Not only with extreme gratitude of realizing how much my story has helped so many girls, and at meet and greets and the amount of people who, we were in Amsterdam and there was this girl who came to the meet and greet and she just walked up to me and she had the most piercing eyes and she grabbed my hands and she looked at me and she said, the only reason my parents have a daughter is because of you, is because I went sober because of you, because you went sober, because I knew if you could do it, I could do it too. And I'll never forget that moment because it was one of the moments where I really realized, like, like this thing that like was so bad, this demon that I couldn't face or break, this thing that I felt like I couldn't do, and this thing that I didn't even know I needed to do for so long, has now become this thing that is helping girls who are maybe as broken as I once was, or resonate with me on a lot of the things that I was going through. And like, that's so cool, because I do think that when I was consuming content about sobriety, you don't always see the girlies talking about it. My testimony is different, and like, if it can help one person, that makes me so happy. I'm sitting here today on my 1 year of sobriety, and this is the only thing I want to do. The only thing I want to do is make this video. If it could help one person, that means the world to me. And I honestly accredit a lot of my sobriety to videos on the internet. There was a point where that was something that I was doing so frequently. I was looking up sobriety and getting sober on TikToks and sitting and watching videos, and there are so many things that I saw in videos that I carry with me to this day. There's one video I remember in the beginning of my sobriety that I saw, and it was this woman. She was saying, if you're trying to get sober and all you did today was not drink alcohol, that is a successful day in your life. I think in the beginning of my sobriety too, like, once you start to get sober, you start beating yourself up about all the things in your life that you might have let go, or you've been doing wrong, or you need to do. You become so much more cognizant and aware of shit you need to get done and mistakes that you've made and just so many things. But the true achievement for me was just putting another day on the books, you know, and I needed to recognize that, you know, and there's so many things like that. So I mean, that's my point. And I want to talk to you guys about so many different things today. I guess I think I'm just gonna start from the beginning and get to here. And by the beginning, I don't mean like birth, that's the book, but it is wild because I think I was always gonna be an alcoholic, right? Like, I think that was my destiny, you know, along with a lot of other amazing things. Alcoholism was definitely my destiny. Funny to say with a smile on my face, but it's true. I mean, my dad was an alcoholic, and I didn't see a lot of that in my life. He had stopped drinking by the time I was born. There's a lot of lore there. And I don't know if I've actually ever talked about this on my YouTube channel, and it's funny because it's exactly where I'm at in my book right now. But my dad had a son before me. So I have a half brother, like, out there in the world somewhere fierce. And he left him before me. I spent a lot of my childhood like wrestling with that, and that's, you know, why I didn't get left, but wishing I could have almost told I only met him once, and he was abusing substances, he was dealing with addiction, and he was older than me. And I spent a lot of my childhood wrestling with the fact that I wished I could tell him that he was better off, almost, that like he kind of lucked out on the life without my dad, and like, well, almost carrying his pain, like, of being like, you probably spent your whole life missing this man who has made mine a living hell, I guess. But to that point, he had already left one kid. My mom had 6 failed pregnancies, some at the hands of him. That's some more dark shit I have to kind of get into in my book, but I was the 7th try. They ended up having me, and later in life I ended up finding out that my mom gave my dad an ultimatum that if he wanted to be in my life, he had to get sober. And so he like did, for the most part. I really only saw him up like a handful of times. I almost think honestly an ice cold beer could have fixed some of his problems. But that was like weirdly something that was always kind of like looming over my head in my childhood, like knowing that he would just always kind of say that to me and like seed that in. And it's like, okay, you're still the worst dad ever. Like congrats on you being pretty sober, King. But I knew that he was an alcoholic, if that makes sense, right? My dad was also the type of dad who like everything he did was so up, right? Like his morals were on zero, and I was constantly watching him be this immoral shit show of a human being. He had 7 brothers and sisters and had exiled himself like black sheep style, them over, all of them, to the point that he, by the time he got to me, was like an only child because like they all wouldn't talk to him. Like just so much lore. And again, book. Yeah, I would watch him be so immoral, and then he would just randomly like once a month pick a day where he like wanted to teach me lessons and like give me advice. And it'd be so funny because even as a 7-year-old, I'm like, why the fuck are you telling me to be responsible? Maybe there was this deep-rooted part of him where there was this deep-rooted part of him, I think, where he knew he was such a horrible person and he wanted me to be a better one. And so that person would kind of come through now and again. And one of his lessons that he would always instill on me, and I was like 6 years old, would be moderation. He'd be like, you just do everything in moderation. In moderation, you have to be. And looking back now, I think that that was his way of kind of seeding to me, you are genetically dispositioned to be an addict, so value moderation. And I never understood that until later in my life. But yeah. And then obviously growing up in Vegas as well. I think that Vegas is a city that is run on, I always joke and say sex, money, murder, but like it's not really a joke. And alcohol and substance abuse. I remember being so young, like kindergarten young, and you would always smell alcohol on the teachers, the people at the school. All of the parents worked in casinos and were cocktail waitresses, and like our next door neighbor with the family that was next to us growing up, and they play a big role in my book and how they kind of like pseudo raised me for a second there and stuff. But their mom was a cocktail waitress, and just all in that scene, and holidays at all the houses, everything was alcoholic related. Even in my first ever best friend, this is also in the book, but I would go sleep over at her house and her parents would set up like beer pong for them and like cup pong for us. You know what I mean? Like I learned how to play beer pong and like the Texas Hold'em hands far before I knew how to multiply or divide. That's what growing up in Vegas really is. I mean, as much as people joke about like, oh, were you born in the casino? Like, yes. Like, yes, I was. And then, I mean, Amari and I also just like, we became friends, and we both kind of as we were becoming friends in like 7th grade, we were transitioning out of like Amari was nerdier and I was friends with more nerdy people, and then we somehow fell into like the popular group, which is so funny thinking about just Amari and I, because we are so weird that like how did we manage to like fit in. But it's because the popular group, at least in my like middle school and high school experience, everything was centered around being kind of a bad kid. Like if you were a bad kid, you were popular. Like we are ditching school, we are getting drunk, we would do bottle runs, we'd go to the grocery store and just knock over everything, and then like run in past the distraction and steal as many fucking bottles would fit in our pants. We would wear big cargo pants specifically to hold more bottles of alcohol. Like and a lot of these memories are like very funny and great, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't change them for the world, but like the social norm was instilled to me at a very young age of like being drunk and being bad was fun. Then, as you obviously know, I dropped out, and somehow because of you through this screen got a taste of the sweet life and was able to make it out of the life, the god-awful treacherous life that I had been living for so long. And with fame and with money, that meant that I had a playground to do whatever the ever living I wanted. And so much of what I wanted and what we all wanted was to get faced in various cool locations. That is what we did, you know, just raised hell. And then obviously then it became this Vegas and LA back and forth where I would go get up with my Vegas friends and throw ragers, and then I was coming to LA and I was getting introduced to this whole world of LA parties. And I feel like I also came to LA when like influencers partying was at its craziest peak. I almost think things got a lot less crazy with TikTok because people had to kind of follow more rules and social guidelines because people became afraid of people making vertical videos about them, right? Like at the time that I came to LA, that wasn't a thing and people were crazy. One of my first friends in LA was FaZe Banks, and we took over like that, just like that scene, you know, and so many other people. I'm not trying to just like call out FaZe Banks by name. There's so many people that I was raging with, and it was all so fun and new and exciting. And like also when you're in the position of fame, and like I think so many things that were me specific, like you're this 16, 17, 18-year-old girl with the world in her hands. You walk into these rooms and people want to keep you so many things. People want to keep you happy. People want to keep you complacent. Well, some people want to keep you up so that you cannot navigate this world or succeed or win with a clear mind. People want to keep you malleable to their molds so that they can control you. Honestly, boy, did I fit into that mold and that place so excellently. I walked into these rooms and I was down to clown, and everyone also knew that. When you start to build a reputation for being the party girl and the fun one and the down for anything, that is so scary, because then you become the person that everyone calls for those things. And then it just snowballed with more fame, and specifically fame for that, for being crazy, being wild, and being drunk and being insane, and just not even necessarily always being famous for that, but because I was so drunk and so wild, I was like so down to stir the pot and do these things and be impulsive and throw the conventions and have the fake weddings and like all of those things. And then those things would bring more fame, which brought more opportunities for that. And all of a sudden I was still face, but on a private jet and doing whatever the hell I wanted in whatever city I wanted, whenever the I wanted, and was getting paid for it. That became this crazy cycle as well, right? And I just have to interject and say I wouldn't change it for anything. Like, even writing this book, just thinking about, I have lore, like the lore that you guys don't even know about across all of those years is so crazy. I got to get drunk and probably do a with every single one of my favorite celebrities in the world. I got to like be in rooms that I should never be in, and on trips I should have, and just places and all these things, all while inebriated to the gods. And I think that I didn't realize that I was numbing, that I was medicating. I really did not realize this until maybe 2022. Let me find the exact year. 2021 was one of the craziest years of my life. Like, truly one of the, you couldn't give me $1 billion to go back and live 2021 again, ever. Like, holy shit. I was living in a house with like 8 floors. I was living in the clout house, and I had become so accustomed and lost in this world of fame to think that that was the ultimate mountain to reach. Like, I had seen Bieber live there, I'd seen Juice WRLD live there, I'd seen FaZe Clan live there. I had convinced myself that living in this house was the epitome of wealth and fame and clout, and that was all I wanted at that time. So I'm living in that house, and then all of these crazy, awful things start happening to me. I find out my parents are suing me. That was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. That trauma will never go away. I've made peace with it, and I've made friends with that little like demon in the corner, but boy, is that demon in the corner always going to be there. Like, there is nothing, and that time of my life was like, I'm so thankful for COVID, because I didn't have to go to court in person with them, and I think that would have traumatized me. I'm not thankful for COVID, but had there not been COVID, it was thankfully at least all on Zoom. But having to sit with my lawyers every day and like just wear my demons on my sleeve like that. Like, I remember I was having to like show the mediators how I'm missing 2 teeth because they never took me to the dentist. And I just remember this mediator looking at me like I was like scum of the earth because of the way that my childhood had gone. And then obviously their lawyers play the opposite side, where they are blaming you and they are telling you that everything wrong that happened to you in your childhood is your fault. That if you take this to court, that your parents are gonna win. And like, I had to sit with that. Like, what if the whole public sees this court case and I lose, and then nobody ever believes me? I can't even. And it was just so embarrassing in my life too, like my assistants and the people around having to see it, and me trying to have to get testimonies from Amari and like Isabella, and like I had to call all of my childhood neighbors and try to get people and get testimonies. And it was just like, it was one of the hardest times of my life. And this is all while I'm like doing stuff online. I had just come off of all of the Jake Paul stuff, and I was really going through it because I really loved him. And I don't know how much I suck at talking about it. Like, even right now I suck at talking about it. I'm gonna talk about it in the book, and I'm not speaking for him at all. I think it's taken me this long of healing to even be able to admit that, because for so long I didn't want to admit that I was so madly in love with Jake Paul. Like, what? And it's still like hard for me to even talk about. I don't know. But he had gone to Puerto Rico and started boxing, and we had gone our separate ways, and I was way more up from that than I ever like wanted to admit. Like, for some reason I had, no pun intended, become so married to this fairy tale that this person was my like twin flame. And obviously then when you're also going through all of those fake motions, your brain just becomes so clouded with what is the truth and what isn't, and like, I don't know. So I was going through that too. Like, that was actually a very major loss for me. That's my truth. And then at the same time, Jordan, my manager, who was my manager for like 7 years, and I stopped working together, and it was like a 3-peat. repeat. I felt like my parents and this person that I loved and Jordan, I lost all at once. Same with the Jordan thing. That is like, that'll be many a chapters, you know, but long story short, Jordan found me and was managing me. I don't know the exact age, from like 15, 16 on. He was there until like 22. In the beginning as well, he was the first person to show me life without my parents. Like a lot of our first year of managing, as much as he was managing me and bringing me brand, I shouldn't, okay, but like bringing me brand deals and money and finances, I was also calling him every night at 3 a.m. like, my mom is breaking dishes in my house, but I can't kick her out because I'm not old enough to be on the lease, like, and I can't get emancipated because they won't sign off on it because they want my money, right? I'm bleeding, hold on, I'm back. So I'm calling him and I'm, you know, he is coaching me through all of these kind of horrible situations when it comes to getting away from my parents. My 18th birthday was Jordan and I at VidCon, and it was the greatest day of my life, and it was almost this celebration, him and I kind of being like, you're free. Like, he was the person celebrating my freedom away from my parents with me, but then it obviously also created this like dependency on him and bond with him, and in so many ways he also took on a role of kind of raising me. I think that the person I was before I met Jordan Morona was, I was like a banshee. Like, I was like a wild child, a tyrant, a Tasmanian devil. It doesn't even begin to cover who I was and who I would have been without him. The fact that he, you know, for good or for bad, was down to take on that challenge. I have so many thoughts on all of it and psychology and things about our relationship, and it was very messy and very layered. Regardless, had he not been there to be like, you can't say this in public, you can't act like this in public, you can't be this late for this thing, you can't, you know what I mean, to like pseudo raise me, I have no idea the person that I would have become, or if I would even have the career that I have today. The very longest story short answer in the world is eventually, in my opinion, our relationship had to come to a close because it was so unprofessional. Everything happens for a reason, you know what I mean? Like, stuck by my side for 7 years while I was a fucking psychopath, helped coach me into a person. I still really wasn't a person in 2022 at all. I had so much more to learn, but I mean, I had made some progress from what I was when we first met, but eventually I didn't think it was healthy, and it wasn't healthy, our relationship, and I wanted a manager, like someone where it was just business, and that was all we talked about, and that was all we did. Jordan and I had this, one of the most layered trauma bonds I will ever have in my entire life. Even when I write it all out and say it all out, it makes no fucking sense, and you know, that is something that I wrestle with daily as well. Truly, it was a lot of my formative years and 7 years of my life, you know, like just a very long time of this person who was like family to me. More than, I don't even, like, I really don't even know how to explain what the fuck that was. But then yeah, three-peat, I lost. It was just such a hard time in my life. And then I find myself in this 4-story house with an elevator that I'm paying $40,000 a month to live in. And I'm next door to the hype house, and felt like at the time there was nothing else for me to turn to other than the party. That is what I did. Let me tell you something. I was throwing parties every night. I was out until 8 a.m. This is also where pain really started to pick up. I think that for a long time I was always drinking and I was always raging, and there was definitely some intermittent party favor use throughout all of this. You guys know my EDCs and the psych and all these things, but specifically that's really where it started to really pick up, and it was truly rampant in LA. I don't think it's rampant in LA the way that it was then now, and everyone attests to that. Like, when I see anyone that I partied with those times, like, we all just talk about, it was so normalized. Like, I would walk into these LA restaurants and your favorite blank was doing a line off the table. That is not a joke, that is not an exaggeration. It was that normalized, no one was hiding it, it was everywhere. And then I live in this fucking 4-story house with an elevator that is known for throwing parties. I am throwing rager after rager after rager, and then I meet the perfect counterpart to join me in this story of numbing myself, which is Chris Miles. I'm so miserable, and then I find someone else who wants to be so miserable with me, and we're miserable together. You convince yourself it is this Bonnie and Clyde, it is this us against the world, just like a lot of my other relationships prior, and we sent it to the moon, and it just kept going and going and going. It is so crazy how addiction snowballs. I think that like 2018 was like kind of bad, 2019 was bad, 2020 was worse. These insane things started being so normalized to me. Like, I would stay up all night doing with my favorite celebrity. Like the amount of times where I'm like, oh my God, I love this person, so of course I'm gonna do this and like whatever. Or just all my friends and I threw a party. I'm celebrating something that's coming out. Dizzy wine, that was a great choice. That was definitely what you needed at that time. It's 10 a.m. and I'm wired and I've had 50 tequila shots and is the perfect best friend to an alcoholic because you can just keep going and going and going. And then I'm sleeping all day and I'm waking up at 3 p.m. And by sleeping, I don't even mean sleeping. I mean like heart palpitations every hour on the hour, waking up every hour on the hour all day thinking I'm gonna die. Today is the day I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die right now. I took it too far last night. Then you take a Xanax to feel better. Then you start your day. And in 4 hours from the moment that you're awake, you are drinking again because you're withdrawing. I spent years of my life in that cycle thinking I was going to die every day, and to be honest with you, I should have. I overdosed one time when I was still living at Weed Lake. That story, I'm smiling because it's kind of funny. It's not funny, but there the things that I was trying to do whilst overdosing. It's a diabolical story. Yeah, I should have died. I spent so long doing that. And then I started to notice as well that when I was getting drunk or I was doing cocaine, the things I wanted to talk about no longer became fun. They were no longer have a random conversation, let's play a game. I wanted to talk about trauma. I wanted to talk about my parents. I wanted to talk about Jordan. I wanted to talk about Jake. I wanted to talk about Chris. I wanted to talk about all of the deaths that I've been through. I think that that's another thing that I haven't really touched on. I mean, you've seen me, my body's like a tattoo shrine for half of the people I love that have died. But I mean, I glaze over that, all of that, the death a lot, the death of my friend Tristan, he died in front of me. That was alcohol related. And I've had this shamrock tattoo forever and the OGs probably remember me talking about him, but he was my best friend and I 100% think he died because of alcohol and the shit that we were doing while we were drunk, and seeing someone die in front of you and then just continuing on almost living the same lifestyle. Like that could have been me in so many ways. And like I saw a lot of that, and I think I let a lot of substance abuse related deaths of people I love pile up, and then here I am still abusing the substances, so then you feel like a piece of because you're like, oh my God, this person I love died because of this, and then here I am still doing it, and then it's like a guilt complex of why not me, and like just so much. Sincerely, I noticed that that was kind of what was happening. I then suddenly just like my traumas were eating me alive to the point that they were coming out of me like all holes, substance style. I was the substance, like it, and it was all I wanted to talk about, and it was all I was thinking about. And then I was drinking to try to numb them, and they were still coming out anyways. And I think I was so against the idea of being an alcoholic. I think anytime anyone told me to chill out, I completely dismissed it. I think I only surrounded myself with people who wanted to partake in the same lifestyle. I purposely was seeking out only that type of lifestyle. I just got worse and worse. You know what I mean? I started doing and saying so many things that just weren't me. My friends and I always talk about this. Like some people can take 25 shots and they become quieter, or they become super grateful and thankful for all the people around them, or they become just like fun and wild and they throw up. Oh my God, the people who throw up and just pass out, like, oh my God, had I been any of those people, I think I would still be drinking. I 100% think I would still be drinking if who I was when I was drunk was a little less insane. I am the most certifiably insane drunk person ever. I'm not Tana. That's why we named her Tina. I'm saying things that I don't mean. I'm saying literally just like words out of my up relationships with people I care about. I'm making decisions that I would never make in my right mind. I think about all of the people as well. Like I'm always talking about like men who were bad to me, or like relationships that went bad because someone else did me wrong. But like I do not talk enough about the amount of good people that like Tina on. I was such a bad partner, bad friend. The only capacity I could be a good friend in was get drunk and let me spend my money on you. I wasn't doing anything meaningful, all while like I am being so awful. I have convinced myself that my identity is party girl and that I am never gonna make money and I'm never gonna succeed. I'm not gonna be funny. I'm not gonna be wild. I'm not gonna have the balls to like walk up to someone and make a random TikTok with like crazy words that will go viral because it's insane. I was convincing myself that I would fail if I went sober, that people would not like it. And I think that's because I didn't like who I was. So in my head, it was like, how could anyone else ever like this? And people like this party, this crazy, oh, Tana's so wild. It was easy. It was a crutch. And my identity was so roped in that, like dizzy and just all of these things. I was like, there's no way I, Tana Mongeau, could ever succeed as a calm, chill, competent person. So that is all kind of backstory. Just trying to inform you guys a little bit more on how I got to who who I was when I first decided I ever wanted to be sober for the first time. There is so much more than that, but I do think that that's like a decent condensed version. Now it is, let me look up the date. Nothing like searching Miami in your camera roll to find the date of the first time you decided to go sober. 2023, and God, I look disgusting. It's so crazy too, like the puffiness of your face and just like sunken in eyes. Like I was literally a walking corpse. I am in Miami in January of 2023. I have always said Miami, truly looking back, is, I mean, I was certifiably insane everywhere. Don't get me wrong, Cabo, New York, Las Vegas, they all get consolation prizes, but Miami is so welcoming of insanity. It is a conglomeration of all of the things that are like so bad in my position, like what fame can get you there, and the strip clubs are open so late and everyone just wants to rage, and like who I was in Miami is to be studied. I was so low at one point I almost moved there. Earlier when I was talking about like gravitating towards and only accepting the lifestyles that welcomed my addiction, I was like, well, I'm just gonna move to Miami because anything goes. Like I was so touring places there. I was so lost. I'm so happy I didn't. I would be dead. I know I would. But anyways, I'm dating Mr. He left me at the Red Rock, and that was another one of those relationships where he's a great person. We're still friends to this day, but he was born and raised in Vegas. I had known him through childhood friends, and our entire relationship was a bender. Like we were on a sick one together. I almost gave up on going for the nice guys. Not that he's not a nice guy, but I just mean like going for the healthy guys, I should say. Or like I had just gotten out of a hinge relationship where he quite literally, just like many others, like broke up with me because I was certifiably insane and I hammered all the time and did not have my together. So I was kind of going for people who almost like embraced this insanity and whatever and didn't want to make me better and were kind of just, and that's not me blaming anyone either. I'm just saying someone who was down to clown, you know? Me and Mr. Red Rock are down to clown, and we go to Miami. We are staying at the Versace mansion, which is truly where I have been my most insane in my entire life. I would always go there. Like I had my group of people who also liked going there and getting drunk as and would meet me there. I'm there with my crew. I'm easily to myself drinking at minimum like 6-7 bottles of Veuve champagne a day, spending so much money to like just, oh, I can't even think about the money. Like, you idiot! We're already there for like 7 days, and that was my other thing. I would just go somewhere and extend for like a billion days and just keep getting up and bender, and like I didn't care about real life at all. Like it was just this portal. And then we meet these new friends. Moral of the story, a Ziploc bag of the size, I am not even kidding you, like of this, filled with Snow White. We do all of it haywire. I'm like barely sleeping. That was the other thing. I started getting in this territory of like not sleeping for 2 days, like just like bendering. I don't think I was addicted to because I could go like weeks or whatever without it, and like I wasn't withdrawing. It just, when I was down for it, I was down for it because it kept the bender going, and that's very scary, especially with fentanyl and just like your heart and so many things, you know. And I do enough for 50 Tanas. The trip finally comes to a close. Mr. Red Rock has to get back to Vegas. I decide I'm going to go with him. We are so drunk that we go to the wrong airport. We drive to the Miami airport. We get there. We find out our flight was supposed to be out of Fort Lauderdale. We miss our flight. There are no other flights. We're running up and down all of the desks in the Miami airport, begging them for a flight to Vegas because you had to get home. Finally, Frontier Airlines, they put us on the list to wait to fly. We get on the plane. We are middle seat, back of the bus. I slam a double shot of tequila in the airport bar before I get on the plane, and I'm sitting there on the plane, and I have never felt so horrible in my entire life. I was like, I'm going to die on this plane. And it was that same feeling that I always feel, just where it's like, I'm gonna die today, I'm gonna die today. This is it for me. Like, I shouldn't be alive. I'm thinking about the and all of the decisions that I've done in Miami and just how I need to go sober. Right around this time as well, Chris had really told me for the first time, you're an alcoholic. And a lot of people had told me that, but I don't know why. Like, it coming from someone who is so close to me, it's like it almost hurts worse when it comes from someone who like loves to get drunk but like can handle it better than you. You know what I mean? It had just been sinking in the back of my mind, and I'd been numbing it out. And I'm sitting on this plane, and I order from the flight attendant. I slam 4 Tito shooters back to back. Boyfriend is asleep next to me, and I'm sitting there just with my own thoughts, and just something comes over me where I'm like, that is the last time I should ever drink. I'm going to die if I keep living like this. My heart is beating like 6 beats every 5 minutes, like bruises. The way I used to bruise, I would be covered genuinely leopard print down my legs in bruises, because when you drink, your blood thins, and I'm iron deficient. My leg hair is long as fuck. Like, my hair's matted. Like, I am disgusted disgusting. For the first time that it meant something, I am disgusted with myself. And I'm like, oh my God, I am everything that I did not want to admit to myself that I am. I am addicted to this. I can't stop drinking. I drink every day. I have the shakes every day. Like, I can't go without it. All I care about is doing this. I'm ruining my life. I haven't uploaded a YouTube video in months. All I am is this like vessel for party to people. I have no substance or like meaning in my life. And I just like had this realization, and I got off the plane, and I'm pretty sure I went home and had like a case of beer, like, which I also loved. I loved a 24 pack of beer to myself, which is so insane. And like, I probably like tried to wean off a little bit for a couple days, and then eventually just had to go cold turkey, which I don't suggest. I'm gonna get into that in a second, my relationship with like weaning versus cold turkey and all of those things. And I do my first 75 hard. I lock the in, and it was the hardest thing in the world. I think that those first 7 to 10 days of being sober are so hard. They are so, but like, oh my God, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. You are shaking, you're withdrawing, your anxiety is level 5,000. It feels like you finally start to see the world again, but almost in black and white. It's like you're looking at this life, like you feel like a stranger in your own life. I didn't know who I was if I wasn't drunk, Tana. Those first 7 to 10 days were absolutely, and I didn't think I could do it, but I did it. I loved 75 hard. I could go around and boast about it and get the like praise for like being sober and being, I mean, I was sober, but like, oh my God, you're sober, you're doing 75 hard. She's so healthy. Like, I remember I was on this Turks trip, and Maureen, I had just finished one, and she's going around being like, she does 75 hards all the time. And I'm like, yes, mind you, I'm faced. That became this thing, you know, where I was doing these. But anyways, back to the first 75 hard. I do it, and I get my life so together. My life still wasn't together in any way, but this was the first time where I was like sober, and that 2-week mark also starts to hit, and the anxiety subsides. Things do start to feel more manageable, and you start to feel good. Maybe there's a world where I could be like this, or I should be sober more. I think that was my takeaway for the first few ones. Like, I should be sober more, but I was still counting down. 75, 74, 73, all the way until 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And in my head, I knew what 1 was gonna be. It was that I could have a drink again. I remember Trevi looked at me one time, and I always talk about this, but she said, your life will truly change when you stop counting down and you start counting up. I could not swallow that pill for another almost 3 years to come. I was like, I am not going to be the sober person. Don't want to be. It's so boring. I made every excuse. Like, my back hurts. I feel like I couldn't imagine birthdays or trips, or I would frequently start 75 hards and then like go on a trip to Cabo thinking I was going to complete it. And before I knew it, I was like doing off my friends in Cabo. And I still wanted that. I still wanted the like fun. I refused to admit that it was genetic. I kept telling myself, I don't think I've ever been so determined for something that I couldn't conquer. Sobriety is one of those things that really is one of the most humbling things, because I was so like, I just want to go back to that girl and be like, Diva, you're not winning this battle. But I was so Tana Marie Mongeau determined to conquer moderation. I'm going to do the 75 hard, and then I'm going to drink again, but I'm just going to have 2 beers that day, and then I'm not going to drink the next day, and I'm going to be a moderate drinker, and I'm going to be like all those other people who can have just a glass of wine at dinner, and it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to feel great. So I'm not an alcoholic. This is conquerable. Like, I've conquered everything. I'm Tana Mojo. Like, that was where my head was at. Did I keep failing? I kept doing 75 hards, and then I would immediately relapse, and then I would just go on a stint until I ruined my life again. Then I would do another 75 hard, and then I would ruin my life again. And it snowballed so fast too. I even think the person I was leaving that bender in Miami doing that first 75 hard versus the person I was when I like put the bottle down for the last time, my alcoholism in that 1.5 to 2 year span, my alcoholism got 15,000 times worse. I didn't even know something could get so bad so fast, where I just was drinking at least like 3 bottles of wine a day. Everything was centered around 2 p.m. hitting and me getting a drink. I needed to. I was getting faced for everything. I was bringing alcohol in cups to any podcast I was doing, was going on vacations and vendors and just staying in the place and being absolutely disgusting and drunk for as long as I could. And then I would wait until I took it so far, whether I like fucked it up with the guy that I was talking to at the time, did something so embarrassing that like I would have anxiety for like a week, like said something so embarrassing to someone or like whatever, just oh my God. And then I would do it again. It started to almost get muddier to where I couldn't really go sober as easily. I would try to do these 75 hards and I would just fail day after day. And I always refused rehab. I think that's another thing that really like sucks. It's like you're gonna spend $40,000 a month on a house in the hills. At one point I was spending $80,000 a month on a life coach who did absolutely nothing for me. And I don't mean like he tried, I mean like he was actively literally doing nothing for me. I'm saving that for the book as well, but I mean, I would do anything other than go to rehab. It scared me so much. It still does. I really like, I don't think I ever conquered that fully, but God passages would have helped me anywhere. I just heard so many rehab horror stories. I saw so many people in and out of it. Like, it felt weak to me, and I don't know why, because it's not. And it would have helped me so much, and AA would have helped me so much. As proud of myself as I am for getting here, like by the grace of God, I don't know how I have without those things. And I think that people should use their resources, and it probably would have been speedier for me. But I hit this really low point in October of 2023, where I went out one night. I was dirty Christina Aguilera, black hair extensions in my head. Typical night. I went to Unruly's Halloween party, which I go to every year. I am Christina. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling my oats. I'm having so much fun. And then we leave the party and we go to an after party, and it is time for me to do as it is on any bender long night. And there are these lines of lined up on this table in this room, and I start this line of with all my friends. Well, not all of my friends, but with my party friends. And as I will never forget this, as I pick up the dollar bill from the table, everyone in the room starts screaming, no, 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 no. And I'm like, what did I just do? And it's like grown ass men too. It's like grown ass men screaming, no, 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 no. And these lines were Percocet and God knows what else. I'm like, I'm gonna die. This is the moment I'm gonna die. I'm going to die. I remember the sun was already out. It was probably like 8 a.m. at this point. And that's crazy too. Like, and just starting that line off the table. And I was so fucked up. I was so up. I took a Xanax to be like, if I'm gonna die, let me calm down. Let me calm down about it. For some reason, by the grace of God, I do not die. And I wake up the next day, I have my hair extensions in my hand. I grab a bottle of wine from where I was off the dresser, and I Uber home. And I remember walking into Amari, and I handed my hair and I handed my wine, and I just start sobbing. Trevi comes over and she's like, you ready to start counting up or what? It's so funny, our friendship too, because I saw her through the worst of her addiction at a point where I didn't feel like I was that bad yet. I was just getting started. Watched her have to die, that person have to die and be reborn as a whole new, beautiful, vibrational, stunning, perfect, sober woman. And then she carried me out of the worst of my addiction. And I don't know if I would be alive without her. And I'm so grateful to her. And our story is so poetic. The first time we met, it was on Twitter, and she was in O2L, and I had just started coming up, and I was a huge fan of her on YouTube. And we met at VidCon, and we took a shot of Maker's Mark together. And I remember we looked at each other dead in our eyes, and we said, like, we're gonna be best friends for the rest of our life, and this friendship is gonna make history. And I love you, Trevi Moran. I love you so much. Because then I saw her through hell, and then she saw me through hell, and she took everything she learned from going through hell and like used it to save my life. And I just like, oh my God, I'll never be able to like repay her. And I love her. And she came over. She said, are you ready to start counting up? And I said, yeah. And I was getting an IV, and the IV nurse, is overhearing our conversation. I'm saying, I have to get sober. I have to get sober. I'm scared to withdraw, whatever. And the IV nurse looks at me and she tells me, a year ago, my husband randomly died from alcohol withdrawals. And had he stopped earlier, it wouldn't have killed him. Please don't let this kill you too. And it was just like fate. She had lost the love of her life to what I was going through. Trevi sitting there at the edge of the bed, and it was just like this moment that I will never ever forget. The IV nurse ended up stalking me, but she still served her purpose. And so then I decide I'm still not going to go to rehab, that I want to be sober, but I can do it myself in Hawaii. That I need to turn my whole life around, and I need to change my life, and I'm gonna go to Hawaii and I'm gonna figure it out. And I get on that flight and I drink on that flight. I write excerpts of my book and how I'm trying to change my life, and it's funny because I'm leaving it in my book. As much as that is not the book, I'm putting it in quotes, and I'm showing you the headspaces I was at while I was still trying to do that, right? I get to Hawaii, I'm there for a couple days. I invite Gay Makoaho. He brings Amber Mozo, and they invite their friend Makoa. I'm sitting there, I'm drunk as shit, and this beautiful Brazilian man walks through the door. I loved him, and I knew, you know that whole story. As much as I talk about Makoa's patience with me in so many other ways, and almost how like he is such a gentleman and like nursed me back to health with my broken toe and all of those things. I do not talk enough about his patience with me and my drinking. I don't know how to explain that. It was so clear to me that like he, from the moment we met, saw this me deep inside of that girl. Whenever I was doing anything wrong or hurting myself or like up, like I could tell that he saw a version of me that I didn't. He saw a version of me that I didn't know existed yet. That is what the beginning of our relationship was. I mean, the day we started dating, I was out of my mind. First time I ever said I love you, I was drunk and on Xanax in Malibu. And our first Christmas together, I was face the entire time. And I would tell him a lot, like I don't know what it was about my immediate connection to him, where I would tell him like I want to go sober and I'm struggling with this, and he was always my biggest hype man. I'd never had someone like that who I just knew was willing to stick beside me and like ride for me and like saw me in a way that I couldn't even see myself and that no one else ever had. And we finish out that month of December together. I decided I'm gonna do dry January. You know, dry January was perfect for a girl like me. Like, yeah, let's go the month, I'm so healthy. And then February is gonna come. We'd rage on New Year's. I go out with a bang. We're in Kauai and I'm withdrawing. I'm at the one hotel and it's beautiful. I get sober. There was something very different about this time as well. I think that Mongeau did play a bigger role in this, where now he's seeing me sober for the first time and I can see how much more he likes this Tana. She's a lot easier to deal with. I'm remembering our relationship and I'm remembering our conversations, and I'm locking in on work and I'm being this boss businesswoman, and he's kind of seeing me do that, and like I feel so good. I don't want to be that like drunk, disgusting mess girl as much anymore. I tried and tried and tried, and clearly like 75 hard and dry January and stuff are not working for me. And this is kind of the moment where like my frontal lobe and my brain started being like, I am an alcoholic and I should put this bottle down, and I have a good thing going right now. Like I've never been so in love and like saw a whole future with them, and like not only do I want to change for me, but I want to change for us. I end up going sober for 5 months. They were phenomenal. I watch everyone in my life start to see me differently. I'm gaining people's respect and I'm showing up on time for things, and I am absolutely loving this shit. I'm like, oh my God, maybe I can love my life being sober. But the problem is that deep inside of me, the yearn was still brewing, and I had tackled everything. I did Coachella sober, which, you know, it's Coachella sober, but still, I still had a pretty good time. Other things, other trips, I was going to Cabo sober. I had tackled everything but my birthday. June of 2024 was coming up, and I couldn't stomach the idea of doing my birthday sober. But I spent the entire 5 months reading about moderation. That's the other thing, you know, as good as I was doing sober, I was still yearning on the side. I was studying moderation. I was studying breaking genetics, if you even believe in that. I was so convinced I'm going to be so moderate. I'm going to restrain myself. I'm going to have 1 drink a day. This is going to be amazing. I can do this. I can be just like everybody else. I still had not conquered truly, like as much as I would tell myself, and I was having fun sober, in the back of my mind, I still was telling myself like, but you have a little more fun when you're drunk, and look how much fun all of your drunk friends are having. Don't you miss, like, you know, I hate being around drunk people now that I'm sober, so I'd be around them and I'd be like, don't you miss just being carefree? Like, the demon can definitely convince your brain that there is a world where you are better with alcohol. Boy, did it win for the last time. And on June 21st, 2024, I decided I, Tana Mongeau, am going to conquer moderation, and I am going to drink on my birthday so that I can have fun and be just like everybody else. For the first day, I had 2 beers. For 1 whole day, your girl conquered moderation, but the next day, and you guessed it, she had a 24 pack all to herself across a hair appointment. My poor hairdressers, that is the other thing, the amount of people in my life who were so patient with me and like loved me anyways, and also saw the good in me and believed that it could come out. I went to Cabo on my birthday, and I was absolutely faced all the way until September 21st, which is really funny that it is like this exact amount of time. I always talk about that, but it was all I could handle. Even at that time, once again, I was leaving on tour in August, I think. So I'm drunk all of July. I keep telling myself, like, I have to get sober before tour starts. Everyone was counting on me to get sober before this tour started. And I just kept saying, okay, well, I'll go sober next week before tour starts. I'll go sober once I get on the bus. I'll go sober once I get on the plane. I'll go sober once I whatever. I go to Vegas right before tour, days before tour. That's such a Tina decision. You leave for tour in 3 days, and where are you? At the tables in Vegas. Face. Perfect example of a Tina decision. I did win $36,000, which was cool. It does make me gamble like an idiot. Sometimes that pays off. But anyways, I'm doing 9 balls in Vegas right before this tour. And I know I have to get sober. That's the thing. It's not even one of those where I'm in a it mindset. I'm waking up every day saying today's the day and failing. And this time was harder than ever. Even that last time where before New Year's I did for dry January, that was hard, but this felt impossible, truly impossible. And I had myself so convinced that I needed alcohol this time around. Once again, it's so crazy how I just did this 5-month sober stint and then 2 months back on the wagon, and I am in such a warp time cloud that I am now so lost that I'm convinced once again that I need alcohol. I have such bad anxiety, so alcohol is gonna make it better, and that like I need it on tour. And I end up getting on that tour bus and I am still drinking. I had just gone to Paris and Ibiza and all of these places in London. I remember there was this moment in London where I stayed up all night doing cocaine with like random people while Mongeau was sleeping. I crawl in the bed in the morning and I wake him and I'm crying in his arms and I'm like, I have to get sober, but I can't. I have to get sober, but I can't. I've watched people die, but I still can't. Like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a failure. I'm going to be just like my parents. Like, the darkest, all my demons just pour out. And he's sitting there and he's like, I know you can do this. And it was a lot of that. It was a lot of him holding me while I was at my absolute lowest, telling me, you've done this before and you will do it again, and you will do it for the final time, and I believe in you, and you are the love of my life. Which is like, I don't know what I would have done without him. I wrestle. I see people a lot say like Makoa got her sober. There's a part of me that hates that because I got me sober, and nobody can make this decision for you. I can't stress that enough, and I'll get there. Especially with addicts, you have to hit your own rock bottom and you have to make the decision for yourself in order to go sober. Nobody can get you sober. But I will say, having someone who loves you and supports you, helps pick you back up when you fall and picks the pieces of you up off the ground, does help. And that is exactly what he was. That time of my life also showed me that he wasn't just in it for the good me. You know, he was in it for all of me, which I will spend the rest of my life repaying him for. I was a tyrant across the globe to him whilst drinking. There was this moment in Paris, like I talked about it in my Paris vlog, but we were supposed to go put the lock on the bridge, and I ended up getting so drunk and being so awful. We didn't do it. I went upstairs to use the bathroom while I'm drunk, and I heard him crying in the bathroom. It's moments like that that will eat at you. Moments like that that also made me know I had to go sober. And I get on this tour bus anyways, and I'm still drinking. Makoa leaves for Bali. At that point in our relationship, I was so codependent on him. And now I'm on this tour bus, and tour is can be so lonely. And I have to give the biggest thank yous as well to Isabella, specifically Isabella, honestly, but Isabella, Ashley, Trevi. You have certain friends that really root for you getting sober. And I mean, Isabella would go around our house and hide the bottles of alcohol from me. Anytime I was drunk, she would sit with me and be like, it's okay. You're just not gonna do this tomorrow. I gave that girl gray hairs. The amount of times Ashley would pack up with me and we would leave our house because I was like, oh my God, I can't even be in this house because I'm just gonna invite people over and I'm gonna get drunk. I need to go get an Airbnb somewhere. And she'd go with me and she'd talk me out of it, you know what I mean? And she would help me get sober. Like, the amount of times I would put Amari through hell just crawling in his bed face, like waking him up, making him drink with me, the whole nine, you know what I mean? They all rode for me. That's what I always say. Everyone's like, oh, Tana's friends, they live the sweet life, like her money, her this, her that. I put those people through a hell that is not worth any financial or fame compensation. And I think if they didn't love me like family, they would have up and left for their own sanity. Paige as well, like working for that. I don't know how anyone, and caring about me so much, and like I feel like so much of her working for me was keeping me alive. But now I'm on this this bus. I'm in Kansas City. Mongeau is in Indonesia. I am crashing out at a level that I've never crashed out before in my entire life. The same thing happens. I'm trying to drink moderately before the shows, and I'm doing it. I'm having 1 to 2 beers before the show, so I'm not shaking. I'm bringing a drink out on stage in case I start shaking. I'm finishing the show in a decent headspace, and then I am taking 90 beers from the green room off of my rider onto the bus, and I'm slamming them and getting faced every night, and then I'm starting over, and I'm doing that every day in this cycle for about like 2 weeks. Any off day, I am a handle of Tito's. The second I have any time off where I'm not gonna let anyone down, I am getting so drunk again. I'm getting so drunk. I eventually have this night in New York City. All my friends are there. Everyone comes to support after the shows. We go out and we rage, and that's what people want to do too. Touring is very scary because your friends come and see you, and they want to celebrate your big sold out show that they just went to, and whatever city you're in wants to give you everything for free and take care of you and like keep you happy. And the thing I was talking about earlier, the fame and it's right there on tour. That's why so many artists talk about how touring was like the death of them, because if you are in a substance abuse cycle, touring is the perfect way to keep it going, because it's already Groundhog's Day. It's the same day every day. You fit your alcohol right in there, and it's chef's kiss. But we go out in New York City. I take 50 billion shots, and I do a billion bags of with everyone under the sun. Mongeau calls me the next day, and I can just tell he's all the way over there in Indonesia, and I can just feel it through the phone that he knows exactly how I was. And then I'm knowing that he's like leaving his family and friends to like be on the phone with me for an hour and like talk me off this ledge, and like I can just feel, like I see it so clearly now. Like I know in that moment after we get off the phone that if I keep doing this, I am going to lose everyone I love and everything I love. My friends are done. They are so fed up with trying with me. My business is going to fail because I cannot uphold it. I'm in this New York City hotel, and I've been trying to go do podcasts hungover. All of these things, everything is just hitting me at once. You are going to lose everything you love and have worked tirelessly for through your addiction to somehow keep the shreds of. You are going to lose it all. I looked in the mirror. It was 5 a.m. on September 21st, and I had a fourth of a Corona on my room service cart. And in any other scenario, I would have drank it to stop shaking, to try to wean. I was always trying to wean off of alcohol and just failing, and that's what would prolong me getting sober. And I just remember thinking, I don't care if the withdrawals kill me, at least this didn't. At least I died trying. At least I died trying. And then I had the most miserable 10 days of my life. Most miserable 10 days of my life. I'm fucking trembling. I'm doing meet and greets. I'm like, thank you so much. Oh my God, I love you too. I'm on stage. Don't even know where I am. I'm just going through the motions. I'm sweating. That is one thing with withdrawals that's crazy. You just smell like what you are sweating out. But I go sober. And I knew in that moment I was counting up. I never wanted to touch it again. I didn't want to lose everything I loved. Mongeau came home, and I cried in a way that I've never cried, because he was like back in my arms, and I was like, oh my God, I can never lose you. I love you so much. Then 2 weeks went by, and I hit that point where sobriety becomes sweet. You still have those cravings now and again. And I remember I saw someone on TikTok say an alcohol craving lasts about a minute. You sit there and you sit through the minute and you say, I'm craving alcohol right now, I'm getting through this minute. I'm craving alcohol right now, I'm getting through this minute. And you miss it, and you might come a little close for a second there, but then you snap back into reality. And that's what it is. I had to acknowledge my cravings and just take it day by day. And I think this journey was so much harder than the others because I knew I wasn't going to pick it back up again. I think that the other ones had this finish line, and then I could have my bottle back in my hands. I'd be okay again, and I could have fun again. And this one was about a rebirth. You have to rewrite your idea of fun. You have to figure out what you actually like doing, because that's the thing. Alcohol will convince you that you like so many people that you don't, that you like doing things that you don't. Alcohol will have you living an entirely different life that you don't even like. And the second you get sober, you don't feel at home in your own life. You feel like the unfit puzzle piece in your own life, because it isn't your own life. It was you on substances life. I had to figure out, what are my hobbies? What do I like to do for fun? Who do I actually like to be around? I started cutting people off like flies. You start to notice that so many other people around you that you love are also alcoholics. And if you want to navigate that with them or not is a whole other thing, you know? And then you want to get other people sober, but good God, it's so funny, because how can you want to get anyone else sober when you are the prime example? You know that you have have to hit your own personal rock bottom. No one else can ever tell you anything. You start having to clean up the messes. I was doing so much of that, cleaning up Tina's messes, financial messes, and that's why I bought a house. I got sober. I had to do that. I had to just like put my big girl pants on. And it was the biggest growing period of my entire life. And I realized who I am and what I stand for and my values. It has been the craziest journey of my life that I'm so grateful for. I wrote some notes. I'd been sober for like a week actually. I just wrote down my notes and I've actually never read them until today. I just wrote down how I felt at the time and I said, I feel content for the first time in a long time. Happy and calm to be here. Excited for tomorrow and about my life, friends, family, and my job. I'm making more conscious decisions. I'm getting sharper and wittier and I feel myself mentally restoring. My days are full of many more memories. I care to do my job. I miss drinking, but I've been managing, understanding that a craving will pass in 20 minutes or less. And powering through those moments of pattern and weakness is making the rest of my time better. So proud of that girl. My empathy for others is high. My empathy for myself is high. I'm creative and I'm thinking about tomorrow. I'm waking up and I'm happy to be awake. I wake up with less anxiety. I don't hate any of my decisions. I'm not saying things I shouldn't. I'm being a great girlfriend and I'm being a great friend. I'm being a great client. I care about my time and my money and how I spend it. I'm more excited for the day and the morning. I'm showing up to things I wouldn't be if I were hungover. I'm having fun doing other things. I like poker and crosswords. I worked out today. I played at a poker tournament today. I had amazing clear-headed ideas for a magazine cover I'm shooting. I won't be hungover when I shoot it, and I've been on time for the people I love. I'm scheduling meetings that would normally be texts I'd ignore, and I'm excited for them. I'm falling asleep on FaceTime with someone I love, and I'm remembering what I say. I'm laughing with my friends. Things feel easier and more capable. I'm so proud of her. Please, if you take anything from this video, I know there was a lot of backstory, but this video is a happy one because I am a walking, living, breathing testimony that if you were dealt all of the cards that I just spoke on, that you can change your life, that you can be dealt the shittiest hand in the world, and if you play those cards right, and most importantly, if you don't give up, because that's what it was. I think that's my message across all of this is I didn't give up. I fell a million times and I wouldn't change that. I really wouldn't, because it's like, yes, I did 1,075 cards and continued to embarrass myself and continued to get drunk and continued to ruin my life, but I had to get to that rock bottom and I had to want it for myself and learn all of those lessons and be that resilient girl. That is the Tana Mongeau I had to be. I had to be a resilient bitch who stood up again and again and again and again and again and should be dead but wasn't, and I did it, and it ended up being the best decision I ever made. It ended up being the best battle that I fought and I won. I don't think I'll ever have to fight a battle that hard again in my life. What's funny is the battle was with myself. Like, of course, my biggest op and my biggest opponent was not anybody other than the girl in the mirror, but I won, and I'm 1 year sober today. And I remember looking at all of those people who were years sober and thinking that will never be me. That is so corny. Those people have no fun. Those people live a boring life and they're miserable because like they let their addiction win. And now it's like, oh my God, I wish so badly I could go back and tell me that like the most fun you'd ever have and like the best life you'd ever have and the best memories you'd ever make and all of those things would happen to you sober and are only gonna happen for you sober. And like, don't even get me started as well on like the universal reward of being sober. Like if you are thinking about it, do it for that and only that reason. I swear the second I started making decisions.
What's up, baby bear?
How you doing? I love you.
I love you so much. How's your video going?
It's going good. I'm so sober. But it was almost like when you are drinking so much that you are putting yourself on this low vibration, when you're abusing any substance, that you are vibrating on this such a low, barely alive frequency, the universe treats you and rewards you as such. I was getting breadcrumbed here and there, I think, for trying. The second that I started vibrating on such a high frequency and putting myself first and my decisions first, the universe rewarded me.
Happy 1 year. Look at this.
Thank you. I'm wearing my leg.
And your new set, Walmart.
I got the set from Walmart for like $4. Come on. Okay, I lost my train of thought, clearly. The ways that your life will reward you when you start putting your best foot into it is so crazy to me. When you pour into your life, it will pour back into you in so many ways that I could have never imagined. I think when I went sober, I had the goals of being the best friend, being the best girlfriend, being the best businesswoman, being the best adult that that I could ever be and had ever been. But I had no idea the rewards that would come from that, the life I could create with those parameters. And I've had so much fun rewriting my life. I went to Paris recently sober for the first time, and that was somewhere I never thought I would get to be sober. Makoa and I went and did the Lock. I got to rewrite that entire city, enjoy it sober, which if you told me all of the other times I was faced in Paris, favorite place ever to get blacked out in was Paris, France, that I would enjoy it sober, I would have never believed you. I just thought about one of the last times I was there drinking, where I drank so much at this fondue place until I went to the bathroom and projectile vomited, and I came back up to the table and everyone was trying to get me to eat food because I hadn't eaten food all day, just drank like 6 bottles of wine, and I refused food and immediately slammed an entire bottle of wine. Projectile chunks, vomit, straight to wine. Anyways, I want to eventually do an entire series about just like stupid I did while drunk. It is to be studied, and it is a learning lesson now, and just very funny. Like I can look back on that version of me. I think another thing is also with sobriety is giving yourself grace, because in the beginning you deal with a lot, like going sober. You see all of these things that you did while drunk that you don't claim are coming back and creeping over your shoulder, and eventually you have to I have to hold hands with drunk Tana. Like in my head, I'm getting into bed with her in 2021, and she's face saying things that make no sense, but I'm like tucking her hair behind her ear and telling her like, good, she can do this. She's loved, and that everyone she's losing is not always a loss, and that the new doors will open, and that all of these things will happen for her that she could never imagine. So many things do come with getting sober. You know, I realize that I have an addictive personality regardless, and when you make space for new addictions to come, I think I dodged gambling, shopping, and eating by the hair on my chin. I watched all of those kind of like almost manifest, where I was like gambling way too much, or I was like shopping way too much. That was the most recent one. Or eating way too much, and it was like, whoa, like alcohol did have a void that I eventually had to just be okay with sitting there and slowly filling it with like love and grace and gratitude, because it was very easy in the beginning for me to immediately feel that was something else. And how cool it has been to just rewrite my life and form new friendships. I often always think about my friendship with Trisha, because I know if I was drinking I would not have been able to maintain it. It's so cool that the universe brought me that at a time that I'm like sober, and brought me her at a time that I'm sober. Like Chelsea Handler, I think I would have made a dick out of myself to my idol, and I wouldn't be able to call her a friend now, especially with the way she likes drinking. I would have tried to like keep up with her. She would have hated my guts. I'm writing the best version of this book that I could ever write. It's funny because my book opens up, I almost want to read it to you. Maybe I will read you guys some excerpts as I'm like working on it. I open up my book with how I tried to start writing it in 2021 and what I wrote. My entire first chapter was all about how I knew I was going to die, about how people at that time were releasing Amy Winehouse's diary entries, and I never wanted someone to do that to me, so I was going to purposefully write a book for when I die. And that was how I was opening this book, which is so fucked up. And now I put it in quotes, and I talk about how clearly I had more learning to do and I wasn't in the headspace to write a book. It's a miracle that I'm here, and it's a miracle that I'm alive. And if you are thinking about going sober, you can do it too. And those first 7 days, I won't even lie to you, are going to be so hard, but then I swear they just get better and better, and eventually the cravings dissipate and the desire to drink dissipates. I really wish I could tell me in the past that as well, that like there will come a point where like theoretically you can drink again, you've hit every milestone, but you won't want to. I'm so well aware with how much alcohol was a poison for me, and how much it did ruin my life, but could have taken my life and could have ruined it even further than it already did. And that like, why would I want to pick that up? Why would I want to dumb myself down? Why would I want to be weak again? Why would I want to hurt myself? I finally love myself in such a way that I know it's self-harm. I just wish so badly I could stress to you the level of disbelief that I had for these notions that I'm speaking. Even if I could like somehow, you could have given me a psychic ball to see this video, I would be like, she's lost. She drank the Kool-Aid. She's one of those sober people now. She's lame. Like, she's definitely not as happy. She's definitely not having as much fun as I am, girl. Like, I would have never believed this. And I think that that is why my testimony is so important, because I know there are so many people out there like me whose identity is in partying, whose life is so intertwined with alcohol. Those people would have to go through the same rebirth as I did and find it to be impossible in the same way that I did. And I'm sitting here to tell you it is not impossible. You will create a new beautiful life and world that you are proud of and that you love waking up in, and you won't feel like a stranger in your own life. You will will develop hobbies and interests and relationships and things that you could never even imagine. If I can do it, you can too. I have no plan on stopping, and I'm so excited for what the future holds, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm still conquering demons every day as well. It's not like life is smooth sailing. I think that about 6 months of being sober, I realized I had OCD, and that these like intrusive thoughts that like I was just so many things. I can make an entire video about realizing that I had OCD, and that it's almost anxiety and ADHD together are the perfect cocktail for OCD, and thoughts that are like not your own, like my food is poison and Makoa's gonna stab me tonight. This plane is going to crash. Oh my God, so many things. It's almost annoying because I don't think I ever had it drunk. I became so cognizant and clear and aware of my surroundings that almost created like a certain negative, which was OCD. Figuring out dealing with that has been like a whole thing. Even now I feel pretty good, but I'm like, I'll probably go home and maybe try a medicine for that. Like I'm still working on certain things, but it's crazy because in peak alcoholism, I also didn't think anything was manageable without alcohol. And now I'm at this polar opposite standing where I couldn't imagine managing any of this with alcohol. Getting a house here and getting a house in Los Angeles and quitting the podcast and moving forward with my future and all of the like business. Like oh my God, I can't even imagine what Tana X Tart would have been had I been drunk. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a blessing to have stress and to have problems that are created from such a fruitful life. While new things have come with being so clear-headed, like of course they did. I lived through so much trauma, and I tried to live through that trauma in a very unhealthy way to suppress it. It won, and it was never going to be suppressed. And now I'm on this journey of unpacking it, but I can't stress to you enough, like I know I'm capable, and I'm not going to let any of those cards win or any of those circumstances win. And I am a sober bad bitch. So millennial, but it's true. I am 1 year sober today, and the way that my life has changed in 365 days, I feel like I've lived 5 lives across this journey. I know exactly what I want, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so capable, and I'm starting a new life in so many ways even now. You know, it's just like, and I'm so excited for every single day and what that brings. And I'm sitting here right now and I'm looking at beautiful Maui, and I can't believe that girl from Vegas ended up here. And I know they say Vegas is the 9th island, but I just don't see it. Every odd was for me to be a washed up addict. Every odd was for me to be everything that I'm not sitting here. My story and who I am, this like only child up girl with no parents from Vegas who somehow became famous on YouTube. And like, this was all never supposed to work out. That's also why I had to go sober. When I realized that I was going sober that last time, there was another thought in my head that was like, you shouldn't have made it this far with the amount of your ups and the alcohol and like whatever. Yes, you always stood up and you always prevailed and you've always wanted to get better, but the odds still are that this life that you're living should not be yours. And I mean that in like the greatest way. Like the universe did give me so many things, and I was so lucky in so many ways. And I just remember truly looking at myself in the mirror and being like, you should be present for this life and you should work for it. You should wake up every day and work tirelessly to keep it and to maintain it, because you love it and you would never want to lose it. You have friends you love, you have a boyfriend that you love, you have a career that you love that was made by people that you love. Holy f, you're going to lose it. Earn your keep, as Mari would say. You better earn your keep in this beautiful life and find a way to feel like home in it without Jack Daniels. And I really hope that this video sparks a discussion in the comment section. If you've ever thought about going sober, all I'm going to say to you is, as hard as it was and as much as I did not believe in myself, it is single-handedly the greatest decision I've ever made in my entire life. And I am a testimony to all of you that if you are still alive and still kicking, fight for your life, for your perfect future, because you can make it happen. You can stand up that 10th time, even though you feel like you can't and you're as weak as ever. You can do it. And the other side is fucking stunning. The other side is something to be studied. I love you guys. I can't thank you enough for giving me this place and always, always being there for me, even at my lowest. Here in Maui, I was staying at this hotel and I met this girl at the hotel coffee shop. She like screamed at the top of her lungs when she saw me. She was holding my hands across the coffee counter and she said, "You have shown me that it is okay to be a piece of shit in life." She said these exact words, and it's so funny because it is a compliment, though it is. You can be a piece of but you can wake up one day and choose not to. You have shown me that you can create any life you want for yourself, and you make me believe in that. And every day I see your life and I believe that I can do it too. I am here for those girlies. I'm here to show you that if you have been a piece of you are not defined by that. You are not defined by your worst moments. As much as society, especially with us women, wants to do that, there is another side. And people may respect you and people may not, but that's not what it's about. And eventually you won't care about that, and just what happens naturally will happen. And you can create any life and destiny for yourself against all odds. I did it, and if I can do it, you can do it too. Cheers to 1 year of sobriety. I will talk to you guys in the next video. I cannot thank you enough for being here for every part of my journey, and thank you for letting me trauma dump / hopefully inspire you a little bit in today's video. I would love to hear your story in the comments below as well. We are 1 year sober today. Bye. Imagine I just go over to the fridge and relapse.